The trailer we just got for the FNAF 2 movie looks incredible. Like, the animatronics are so close to their in-game models that it looks almost CGI. Like, this looks like a fan-made trailer. Look at the mango puppet. That's crazy. But honestly, even with what little information we've gotten so far, I think I already know the entire plot to the FNAF 2 movie. So, spoiler alert, because I'm so confident in this prediction, it might as well be taken as fact. Slices, put on your aprons and let's bake ourselves a theory. Now, before we get to that prediction, I should probably go over the trailer, at least the important stuff. I know we've probably already all watched it, but you may have missed some things that I noticed, so I just want to go over it. So, before we get too deep into speculation, let me break it down for you. Now let me go over the trailer. I think that's the second time I've made that joke on the channel. Oh well. The trailer starts with narration from who is likely William Afton. Although he sounds fairly healthy here, so my guess is that this isn't a flashback or some sort of hallucination. After all, in some of the behind-the-scenes footage and a shot later in this very trailer, we see William Afton alive and well. And at the end of the first movie, he was spring-locked and left in a closet. So he's definitely no longer alive and well. Or he might be alive, but he's definitely not well. We then cut to these shots of something that seems to be a Faz Fest, a festival that celebrates all things Fazbear. And already I have to come to this movie's defense. So many people were already saying that a Faz Fest is too unrealistic. Why would there be an entire festival celebrating what is essentially decades old foreclosed Chuck E. Cheese characters? And I hear you, but I have 2 points of a rebuttal. First of all, in a movie about possessed, murderous animatronic robots, a festival celebrating Chuck E. Cheese characters is the most believable thing. But second of all, hyper niche festivals are something that happen all over the world all the time in real life. Like the Mothman Festival that happens every year in West Virginia. I mean, hell, there's literally a BillyCon. It's a convention that celebrates Showbiz Pizza, Billy Bob's Wonderland, and the Rock-afire explosion. The convention has happened annually for the past 4 years, which is literally a real-life festival about decades-old foreclosed Chuck E. Cheese-like animatronic characters. So yes, FazFest is a realistic thing to happen. Man, it is dark in here. Hopefully this floor is near some kind of exit. I feel like I've seen every level of the backrooms at this point. I can't even feel a wall. Is that a curtain behind me? Ah! Gah. Oh, man. Hi, everyone. I didn't realize I was on stage. Or had a microphone. Hopefully you didn't hear me just now. Oh, here's something. Is this my script? Oh, no, it's a sponsorship. Today's video is brought to you by Fume. Alright. We all have bad habits we would like to break. I myself am a heavy fidgeter. At least some part of my body is always moving. But Fume makes it easy to try and swap out that bad habit with something better. Right away, Fume is not a vape or an e-cig or anything like that. There's no vapor, no nicotine, no smoke, nothing to charge, or anything of the sort. Fume is an award-winning flavored air device that brings flavor to your mouth as you breathe through it. And Fume continuously invests in third-party studies to ensure their product is safe. And my favorite part, it is built to fidget with a magnetic frame that snaps together and an adjustable clicky valve, and even separate Fume topper that you can chew on if you're a chewer like me. Being so genuine right now, anytime I'm editing and my hands are busy with the keyboard, a way that I like to fidget is just chewing on this topper. It's just really nice. Speaking of, if you want to try Fume, right now with my code, Fume is giving a free Fume topper with any purchase of a Journey Pack. So go to tryfume.com/RyeToast with the link in the description or the QR code and use code RyeToast at checkout to get a free Fume topper with any purchase of a Journey Pack. Thanks again to Fume for sponsoring today's video. Thank you everyone. My eyes are finally adjusted to this light though, I can see the crowd. Wait a minute. Why are all the seats empty? Who's clapping right now? Regardless, we then see Abby biking to the pizzeria after leaving the note, "Gone to fix my friends." Immediately, it's followed by a foreboding,
"They're out there, Mike,"
which is referencing the toys, because we then get several shots of the toys just straight up murking people. Starting off with Toy Chica in a high school killing that guy who dies in Jurassic Park. And you know, if I had a nickel for every time Toy Chica displayed murderous intent inside of a high school, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it's happened twice. But we then get several more shots of murdering happening. Mangle going through a window, Toy Freddy opening a garage door, Bonnie holding a screwdriver as if he's about to stab someone, that aforementioned William shot, and we even get Balloon Boy becoming a flashlight instead of turning it off. Vanessa's threatening to shoot somebody again, there's no surprise there, but then we get this very interesting shot of what appears to be Spring Bonnie's hand picking up a knife. I have a lot of thoughts on this shot, so we'll save it for after the trailer, but just keep this one in mind. Afterwards, we get what I assume to be Mangle straight up yoinking this guy, and I will say, I think this is a VHS camera. It took me a while on my live streamed reaction. What is this gizmo he's got? Straight up a doohickey. Yeah. What are we looking at here? But I got there eventually. Don't forget, I live stream 4 days a week at twitch.tv/RyToastYT, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday at 9 p.m. EST. We get an endo arm going through a windshield, probably Mangle again, and then we get the narrator finishing his countdown and saying, "Showtime!" A new character screams, and we get the title card. Notably, for the majority of the trailer, the song from the music box was playing, but then on the title card we switched to the Toreador March. And that was the trailer. But like I said, using this trailer alone, I think we can predict the entire plot of the movie. But before we get to that, let's go over the Spring Bonnie hand thing I mentioned. I know it's just a hand, but this looks way less decayed than I would have imagined. And the movement to pick up the knife is so smooth. Not only does this not look like a Springtrap hand, it doesn't even look like the version of the Spring Bonnie costume we saw in the first movie, the decayed version. This looks like a new and well-maintained Spring Bonnie suit, almost as if this is a flashback. In fact, I don't think it's just any flashback. I think this is going to be showing us the missing child incident, or at least the moments right before his killings. Listen back to the narration of this trailer. Count with me now. A countdown and then showtime. A healthy William Afton saying that. I think this is audio of William Afton right before he kills one of his victims. This sounds like the setup we've seen time and time again in this franchise. Spring Bonnie putting on a show for a very special child, only to lead them away and kill them. That aside, let's move over to the main plot. I think this trailer is intentionally trying to mislead us. Abby leaves on a bike to go to the old pizzeria with a note, "Gone to fix my friends." Then we're told they're out there, and we immediately see shots of the toy animatronics hunting the main characters. The framing of this makes it seem like Abby found the toy animatronics, repaired them, and set them loose, and then they start causing havoc. But I don't buy that. For one, her friends are established to be the original Fazbear gang, or at least the spirits within the original Fazbear gang. And the movie established that the reason they're possessed in this movie trilogy is because the bodies are inside the suits. So it's not like the spirits would have just moved on to the toy animatronics, and I don't think Abby could turn them into the toy animatronics. So I think these two pieces of information are unrelated. I think Abby saying "gone to fix my friends" is talking about the original animatronics, because of the state they've fallen into since, and because of the events of the first movie, the building collapsing on top of them and having no one left to repair them. In fact, I think this will be the movie's excuse to put in the withered animatronics. Now, I hear you, that is a very short time to go from this to that. But I do have an explanation for this, although I'll save it for the end of the video for the narrative sake of the theory. So for now, just trust me that when Abby finds them and they look like the withered animatronics, I have a speculative reason for why. And I think the reason the trailer and all of this promotional material is so ready and willing to show us the toy animatronics before the movie is because the real reveal they're saving for later is the withered animatronics, and that's what Blumhouse is keeping close to their chest. So if that is true, what's going on with the toy animatronics? Do you remember how the FNAF 1 movie cold opened with that random security guard who gets killed? Oh, okay, bye. Well, similar to how in the first FNAF movie trailer we saw that security guard, I think we've already seen the cold open for the second movie. Remember that kid holding the VHS camera that gets yoinked by Mangle? Well, the new character who screams at the end of the trailer is also wearing film equipment, these studio headphones. So I think the cold open for the second movie is going to be this group of teenagers breaking and entering to the FNAF 2 pizzeria, trying to film some sort of paranormal events, which is where this guy, this girl, and maybe some other characters are going to die. But I think the reason they were in there was to get some sort of promotional material for that Faz Fest we've seen in the trailer. And even though they die and presumably go missing, people looking out for them and trying to find them would likely find the toy animatronics. And if you're having a Fazbear festival, a series of animatronics that were said to be scrapped but were actually secretly kept would be a great find for the festival to celebrate. So I think these toys were found by the people running the festival, pulled out of storage, brushed up and got working again, and then were set amongst the festival. And they were performing well and having a good time until eventually, when somebody didn't have eyes on them, they escaped. And now that the toys are loose, that's why they're causing havoc. Specifically, they leave to start hunting Abby. That's, I think, the premise of the FNAF 2 movie. These toys are going location to location at night, getting closer and closer to Abby and killing people along the way, hiding during the day. I think the plot here is going to be the most intense and unforgiving plot of Five Nights at Freddy's history. Shit, it's the Twisted Ones, isn't it? It's going to be the Twisted Ones. Quick refresher for anyone who hasn't read the Twisted Ones or it's just been a while, this is the second story of the Silver Eyes trilogy, in which, after the events of the first book, Charlie is going to college now, but reports of people being killed with strange injuries keeps popping up closer and closer to her location, and by the end of the story, it's found out that William Afton is still alive and made these makeshift animatronics that utilize illusion discs to trick people into looking biological and disgusting, and were sent to hunt down Charlie, burying themselves during the day so they wouldn't be found. This sort of sounds familiar, right? The illusion disc, twisted one, disgusting thing, not so much. But the idea of animatronics going location to location to hunt down a main character seems to be what the FNAF 2 movie is going for. And this behavior is even backed up in The Week Before, the first interactive novel that takes place before FNAF 1. In a few of the endings, if you leave the pizzeria without fixing the issue with the animatronics, they go from the pizzeria, escape, and go house to house, slowly making their way to your apartment. Well, here's the interesting part connecting this movie to the Twisted Ones. The ending of the book gives us a really interesting possibility. During the final conflict of the Twisted Ones, several of the main characters are about to be attacked by the entire roster, but at the last minute, the original Freddy's gang shows up and fights them back, giving the main characters time to escape. I think the same thing is going to happen in the FNAF 2 movie. In fact, I think this is where the puppet is going to come into play. In the original FNAF 2 game, in the minigame Save Them, the puppet is leading Withered Freddy to try and stop William. And I think we'll see that same thing happen in this movie. Can you imagine a better set piece for the big climax of the FNAF 2 movie than the toy animatronics about to kill the main characters until the marionette leads the original withered animatronics in to save the day, giving our characters enough time to escape? But I hear you. If that's true, why are the toy animatronics chasing Abby? Admittedly, this is where things start to get a lot more speculative, and that's because in this version of Five Nights at Freddy's, we have little to no information on William Afton, especially his motivations for doing things like the missing child incident, so it is hard to nail down a reason for the toy animatronics hunting down Abby. But I've got a couple guesses. After the toys escape from Fall Fest, I believe they would then seek out William Afton, and he, while still alive, uses them to find and capture or kill Abby as revenge for what happened to him in the first movie. Now, how does he control these toy animatronics? Well, either they're just robots and they're not actually possessed by anything, and he adjusts their programming to do so, or the toys are originally able to overwhelm the original animatronics, then allowing William Afton to take pieces from the original animatronics to repair the toy animatronics, leaking over some of that remnant and making them more able to be controlled. This would then further explain why the animatronics are withered in the second movie, that initial fight. But either of these explanations are pretty wishy-washy at best, because again, we don't know a lot about William Afton. But that's the thing. I think much like FNAF 2, this movie is going to give us a lot more information on William Afton and his motivations, or at least specifics on what he's done, instead of featuring him as the main antagonist. Think about it. This movie has the perfect opportunity to mirror FNAF 2's lore, not featuring William Afton as a main villain, but rather showing us flashbacks of the things he did and giving us hints as to the reasons why. Like give gifts, give life, save them, give cake to the children. We'll be seeing flashbacks about why the animatronics are possessed and who's possessing them, probably being given to us by the marionette. All of this leading up to the third movie, the FNAF 3 inspired one, where William Afton can take center stage as the main antagonist in Springtrap. I do have one final worrying note about this theory though. This does unfortunately open the door wider for the Vanessa is a robot theory. The main reason for that is the rest of the ending of the Twisted Ones, where Charlie, the main female character, is kidnapped and killed by twisted Freddy in front of the main male character, and then is buried under the collapse of the building. But then, in the beginning of the next book, Charlie miraculously shows up again, seeming a bit older, and acting a bit strange. It's then revealed that she was actually part of 4 different robots who were swapped out to age her up as she would grow up. Because Charlie was a robot all along in these books. Which, if this is the book that the second movie is basing itself off of, could totally happen to Vanessa. I kinda hope it doesn't. I like Vanessa just being a traumatized human, but if this is the direction they're going, there is heavy precedent. But I guess we'll have to wait and see for when the movie actually comes out, because I'm definitely going to be in theaters day one, excited to watch. But what do you think? And what do you think about what we've seen from the movie so far? I think it looks great, but I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. In the meantime, in case you missed it, I've been putting more and more edited gameplay videos on my second channel, Rytoost. I actually just put a FNAF Shuffler where I play FNAF 1, 2, and 3 on there, and just yesterday put me playing Security Breach, but I gave Gregory a weapon and chat could electrocute me. It's a whole mess, but they're both there. You can find the channel right here. If you want your fan art featured on the channel, make sure to share with hashtag ToastArt. A huge thank you to the best shadow members, the Dough Risers. Until next time, as always, stay toasty, slices.